The National Portrait Gallery now owns a very fine portrait of Mary Seacole. It's a lovely portrait. However, it's one in which Mrs. Seacole is wearing 3 medals. And this has been used very widely, and part of the myth is that she was a heroine on the battlefield and she won those medals for bravery. Well, the truth of the matter is that women could not win military medals. Those medals, of course, were not bravery medals. That's the Victoria Cross, actually. Those were service medals, and you had to be in the British Army or the Royal Navy to win those medals. And she wasn't. Florence Nightingale never had a medal. Queen Victoria sent her a brooch in lieu of having a medal. But it wasn't illegal to wear someone else's medals at that time. Nowadays, under the Army Act, it would be a criminal offense for someone to wear those medals. But I don't doubt that Mrs. Seacole did it as a bit of a lark, and it was fun to do. No one objected. And so she is shown wearing those medals. Unfortunately, people then think that they were hers and that she really was a heroine on the battlefield. And the National Portrait Gallery, in using this portrait of her, this has now gone on to a Royal Mail stamp. And Mrs. Seacole has been presented along with Winston Churchill, William Shakespeare, Charles Darwin, you might say names that are very famous for very important deeds, and Mrs. Seacole's are put up with theirs, when in fact it's Florence Nightingale who made contributions at that same level. And Mrs. Seacole, decent person that she was running a restaurant, bar, takeaway service for officers. Perfectly legitimate, but not of the heroic medal-winning variety. The National Portrait Gallery is one of the institutions that really fell for Mary Seacole, and they put out a timeline, and it's used for school children who make visits to the National Portrait Gallery. And some of the things it has on the timeline, that Mary Seacole begins nursing with her mother. Well, she wasn't nursing with her mother. Her mother was running a boarding house. Then other things, she gets married and so on, and then nurses patients in cholera outbreak. Well, this, of course, is where she's also using lead acetate and mercury chloride. They don't mention that. She nurses yellow fever patients. Well, she said she didn't have one successful case. They don't tell you that. Then she goes to London trying to sign up to nurse in Crimea, but rejected. However, she went to London to look after her gold mining stocks, and it was only after the nurses had left that she tried to go, but even the second contingent was almost about to leave. This is a bit of a phony story. She travels independently to the Crimea, meets Florence Nightingale at Scutari, sets up the British Hotel, etc., but it wasn't a hotel, it was a club. And of course, it was a club for officers.